On this episode of Tiki with Ray, I head up to Vancouver, BC to talk about Hawaii with my good friends Heather and Terry Manning. We filmed this episode in their home tiki bar, Toad's Grog Grotto. Hi everyone, this is Ray, or some of you might know me as Tiki with Ray, and today I am up in Vancouver, BC in a home tiki bar, and it's actually in your garage, right?
Yes.
Correct. This is Heather and Terry, and what is the name of your tiki bar?
Toad's Grog Grotto. Toad's Grog Grotto.
Yeah, that rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
Especially after you had a couple of Navy grogs in you.
Yeah.
If there's anyone that knows anything about Hawaii, it's these two. You've been to all the islands at this point, or most of them?
Yeah, we've been to most of them except for Lanai and Molokai, which are the ones that are usually harder to get to. Don't really have the hotels or resorts at.
So that means you've been to all the islands, though, because I know that those are very, very, like you really, really have to go out of your way to go to them.
Yeah, especially for Molokai, it's more of a destination as like a part of a tour or an attraction.
Yeah.
And I think it's sort of locals, sort of native Hawaiians that live there, so they're not really as open to the whole tourism thing.
It's not as developed.
No.
There probably isn't any tiki bars over there.
Correct, unless there's a really super secret one we haven't discovered yet.
Probably like a lot of chickens, I'm guessing. A lot of wild chickens.
Yeah, definitely in Kauai, there's a lot of turkeys. I meant to say roosters. I'm the turkey, yeah. And we've seen a few on Maui this time.
But Kauai definitely has the population when it comes to the roosters and the chickens.
I was awoken every morning when I was in Maui by the roosters. And I literally felt like I was on a farm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And supposedly they all have different clocks. So some are on Hawaiian time, some are on Filipino time, some are on Asian time.
Yeah, and I was on my time.
But we're the same way. When we're there, it's early to rise. You're up with the sun, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., and when the sun goes down...
It gets dark at 6 p.m.
Yeah, 6 p.m., 7 p.m., it's dark again,
And people tend to get up really early. They're all up doing stuff in the mornings. And then, there's not, apart from, I'd say, Waikiki, there's not a lot of nightlife.
No.
Not late nightlife, yeah.
After about 8 o'clock at night, things are pretty dead.
9 o'clock, it's quiet.
Yeah, I hear you. So, Heather and Terry are... like you're part of the Tiki Ohana, the Tiki family. But what interest came first? The interest in like Tiki and Tiki bars or Hawaii?
I guess it was Tiki first, since our first trip to Hawaii wasn't until 2012, and we were sort of getting into Tiki. Your first mug purchase was before that.
Yeah, we're at this sort of antique mall in Newport, Oregon, called like the Pirates Booty or something like that. Huge
Pirates Booty, the poop deck. Yeah. Is there a theme going on here?
Huge antique mall, and I was going through everything in there, and I saw a tiki mug. I'm like, that's cool. Like I've seen tiki mugs before, but it was a tiki farm mug, so it was sort of a new rendition on a tiki mug.
Oh, there was a tiki farm.
It was a tiki farm mug. Yeah.
Wow.
This was probably 2009.
Yeah, and that's cool. I thought I wasn't really into tiki, but I thought it was cool, so I just bought it, thinking it was cool, and.
That was it. Just, hey, this looks cool.
Just bring that home with us. That's even what we have here too. We've got our collection of mugs.
And not my really expensive ones.
And then we have the ones that are actually the ones we serve the beverages in.
Did you ever have a visitor here and they're like, I want my drink in that mug right there, and you're like, no.
I think your friend Dave did that to me once.
He did.
I'm like, he can pick out a mug, and he picked a mug, and I'm like, not that
mug.
Pick another one.
Any mug but that one. I'm like, well, how about that one? No.
She's a good.
Pretty soon it's in a little glass. It's in a sippy cup made out of plastic. Well, that's how he got into it, but how did you get into it, Terry?
Well, I was along for the ride on that trip. So, so I was there in 2009 in Newport, and so he's like, hey, I think I'm going to get this. I'm like, okay. And then the place we had at the time, it found its home kind of next to the stereo, and then... probably a few weeks later, some thrift store finds started to make their way, and the tabletop where the stereo was on all of a sudden had a cluster, and then another cluster.
Were these bought without your knowing? Like you'd come home from work, and all of a sudden there's another. Yeah. There's another.
Exactly. I turn around and
like, wait a minute,
Terry, where did these other mugs come from?
I don't know. And then there was maybe some research happened on eBay and online.
Yeah, and I think we got the mugs and we're like, oh, there's drinks that go in these mugs, so
Yeah.
let's find out how to make these drinks. And with all the Beach Bum Berry books and everything, I think I started buying those.
That's right.
Yeah, and through just friends up here that were kind of into the same thing. And then,
Some rum
of course, the
symposiums.
Shameful Tiki Room opened, and
Yeah.
then that was, kind of went
So
from there.
even at the very beginning, you just liked the mugs, but you didn't
I
even.
just thought it was cool.
Didn't really know
No,
what
you
else
didn't
was
even
beyond it.
decide that, like, hey, there's a certain drink or something like that would be in it.
That was that came next. Was sort of like, okay, well, maybe we should learn to make some cocktails, and so we sort of experimented on our own. They ended up being very strong and not very well balanced. Then got an invite to Legacy Liquor Store where they have a long table and they can do symposiums and presentations.
Yeah.
So a local bartender, Donny Wheeler, who's now the rep for Havana Club Rum in Canada.
Really?
So he hosted a
Wanna be, what's his name?
Donny Wheeler.
Donny Wheeler. Want to be friends with Tiki with Ray?
So, he was sort of our introduction to proper cocktail making and the history of rum and history of tiki as that came about too. And, why the drinks are crafted the way they are.
Yeah.
And, definitely point us to more online sources.
I think, too, with Tiki, there's a lot of crossover between music and, hot rodding and, surf music. And it's all kind of, I know people in Vancouver that are into rockabilly, but they're into Tiki stuff.
As well, yeah.
Or people that are into mid-century stuff, they're into,
Yeah.
it's all intertwined. And I just, I've always been into that, music or cars, and it just sort of seemed kind of a part of it as well. I just kind of went further into it, I guess, than I'd been at the time. Because, maybe 15, 20 years ago, there was Tiki mugs, but there wasn't the big resurgence like there is now with Tiki bars opening.
you're
There's really not
right.
much going on. So, and then, our trips to Hawaii and...
So that's the thing that I find interesting is like, and I followed the same trajectory as you. Before me getting into Tiki, I didn't really have much. I knew of Hawaii, but I'm not really a beach person. I'm not.
Don't like any...
But
you sort of don't really have to be. My brother's the same way. He's like, I'm not into the beach. I'm like, we go to Hawaii. We might go to the beach for an hour or 2 hours at the most, but we're doing other stuff too. Like,
when I finally made it, I just drove around.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get wrong, I loved it. I went to Maui and I loved it. But what brought my interest into even going to Hawaii was my interest in Tiki. So how did it go for you two?
Yeah, so 2012 was our first trip, and we kind of thought, well, if this is our only time going to Hawaii, we thought, let's go big. So we went, I think it was 2 weeks. We did 3 islands. So we started in Kauai.
In one trip?
Yeah. We decided in case this was the only time we
We're
ever
gonna see,
got
like,
to
everything we
Hawaii,
can see.
we're gonna max this out.
Heather, that's not a very optimistic attitude.
Well, we're using points and everything.
Or you're just sort of like, yeah, let's milk this trip for as
That's
much as we can.
So,
Terry, we may never get back here, so I feel we should go on this trip where we go to...
Yeah.
as much as we can. It coincided with my 40th birthday as well, too. So there was that in the middle to celebrate. And some friends were going to be in Oahu doing a running race. So we're like, okay, that's great. We'll go to Hawaii first. We'll meet up in Waikiki. We'll hang out together, and then we'll continue on. And we went up to Maui.
Before we went, I'm online. It's got all the best tiki bars in Hawaii. And I'm like, there's really not a lot of tiki bars in Hawaii. There's, in the 60s and 70s, there was lots of cool hotels that had kind of tiki themed bars, and then a lot of that's just disappeared. We landed in Oahu, and I mean, La Marianas is about the only place that's really
an old
you could
timer,
say,
yeah.
And it's cool because they took a lot of the old carvings and panels out of the hotels that closed, but La Marianas, it's a cool spot. I mean, I'd say the drinks are kind of not the greatest, but I mean, definitely go. Like the ambiance and the decor and everything is just fantastic.
And that it's hidden in the marina.
And it's in a weird spot. It's like some industrial marina in the middle of nowhere, and
between the airport and Waikiki.
But just it's been there forever, and it's sort of like Tiki Tea in LA. It's just been there for so long. It's got sort of a vibe to it or something that you can't really
replicate.
So I understand. Like, there's the Mai Tai. And then there's the island Mai Tai. And the island Mai Tai is what most people think of when they think of a Mai Tai.
Yeah.
Really sugary,
fruit juices,
grenadine maybe. And that's not the original Mai Tai, so there's a difference between the island Mai Tai and a 1944 original recipe. And from what I understand is that people got to the point where that is what they want. Most normal people, they want the island Mai Tai. They want the sugary drinks.
The fruity drink with an umbrella stuck in it. And
yeah,
that's what they're expecting to get. I think if you gave them real Mai Tai, they'd be like, what is this? It's horrible.
It reminds me, I remember when Starbucks got really big, right? And I went back home to Pennsylvania to visit my mom and dad, and my mom likes cappuccinos. But she likes cappuccinos that you would get at a mini mart, which is one of those things where you...
The machine?
Your machine. And essentially it's glorified chocolate milk.
Yeah, and sugar.
Yeah, and that's all it is. So she liked those cappuccinos. So she's like, well, Raymond, I've heard about this Starbucks place, so let's go to a Starbucks. I'm like, yeah, all right, Mom. So I'm like, all right, well, she likes cappuccinos. Get her a cappuccino. And she gets it, and she's like, this is terrible.
It's bitter. It's coffee.
I'm like, but that's a cappuccino. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? She goes, well, I usually get them at the mini market over there. And I'm like, oh. So she gave me my cappuccino. We went over to the mini market, and I gave her what she wanted. Yeah. So most normal people don't want the really strong drinks and stuff like that.
Maui's where we spent most of our time because Terry's parents spend the winter there, so it's easy for us to then continue on and visit. So. Yeah. Near them is a shopping place, the shops at Wailea, and there's a Tommy Bahama store. But there is actually a Tommy Bahama restaurant and bar attached to it, which we had never seen before.
I had no idea.
And no idea. So we said, why don't we go there, maybe try their happy hour or whatever. And we went in, and we were really pleasantly surprised. Mm-hmm. This is about maybe 2 years ago. Probably maybe it's probably 2016.
They're using, kind of more high-end rums and in-house juices.
Fresh squeezed juices, their own syrups and everything. And so
it's good.
It's good. Yeah. And so they've actually come up with some of their own cocktails. Someone called it Tiki Tonk, which is kind of a stronger profile tiki drink as well. And they're doing a really good painkiller. And they've got some really top shelf rum behind the bar as well too. So you would not. It's a very surprising place.
Expect, What is the restaurant like? Is it tiki beachish at all?
More beachy. Yeah. So it's more maybe plantation style. So it's got the nice fans.
Yeah.
It's got an outdoor area, an indoor area. Caters to families maybe a little bit earlier.
A little on the higher end side.
Yeah,
I would say,
but you can get your macadamia nuts, mahi or chicken, or you can get a steak, and so it definitely caters a very North American menu. But so if it's a small group or a large group, and so they have it's quite nice. And one of the bartenders who we've on the past 2 trips has been there. Her name's Evelyn at the Tommy Bahamas in Wailea there. So she's really great. She's a real personality.
Yeah.
And, she'll get to know you, and she'll definitely talk you through the menu and figure out do you like a sweeter drink or a more tart or something more balanced as well. So
and that's Maui, right?
Yeah, that's on Maui, and they were actually doing some of their own specials too.
There's another place and it's in Maui that you two turned me on to.
The Monkeypod.
The Monkeypod.
That opened up a few years ago.
The first time I was going to go to Maui, Heather and Terry, they're like, if you're going to go, you need to go to the Monkeypod. And you're like, it's not really a tiki bar, but just get a Mai Tai there. You're going to love it. I'm like, all right. And then it was like Ilikoi foam or something like that.
Foam,
I'm like, this is amazing.
And that's been a trend. So now the Monkeypod foam-topped Mai Tai, others are replicating it now at all the different hotel bars or resort bars.
Not as good, I don't think. And,
definitely, I think the Monkeypod one is the best original.
In Kauai, there was a kind of at the marketplace. They had a Friday night marketplace, and I think Merriman's owns Monkeypod.
Yeah.
What is Kauai like? I hear it's really small and mellow.
It's
old school. Yeah, it's old school.
Yeah,
it's not a lot of development.
Less developed, more smaller properties, less people.
Laid back. I like it there because it's quiet. Not if you want nightlife, don't go to Kauai because there's really nothing much going on, and outside of like the resorts and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But,
there isn't much nightlife.
You'll be at past 9 p.m.
Oh.
Yeah,
even compared to some of the other, even Maui doesn't really have a lot. But
Kauai has even less. Yeah.
In Maui, if you're in Kihei, there's that little area where the marketplace is, and there's a few bars in there. That's pretty much the mecca of nightlife there.
Yeah. In Maui, there's South Shore Tiki
Lounge. Yeah, exactly where that.
How is that place?
So we've had some really good visits there in the past. Yeah. So, it's got nice little, it's got more outdoor seating than it does indoor seating. We've always had really good food there as well. Good. And definitely our first few visits, the tiki drinks were pretty tight. It might depend on the night you go.
What does tight mean?
Tight, well done.
Okay, all right. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, maybe that might be like, when we say tight, that means terrible. Hawaii itself, whatever island we're talking about, it doesn't need a tiki bar.
No,
because it's
Yeah,
You're
in one big, huge tiki bar.
You're in it, I mean, the reason why I like tiki bars is because I live in Seattle. You two live in Vancouver, and it rains and it's gray, and this isn't a full-on escape from reality. So that's why we kind of need something like this. But when you're in Hawaii, you don't need to replicate Hawaii because you're already there.
Because there's palm trees, and there's
warm breezes, the beach.
Tiki torches everywhere, and it's warm, and I just think it's one big tiki bar. You don't, you're exactly right. You don't really need to replicate that.
Well, a lot of times, we're at the condominium, sitting on the lanai. We can make our own scratch drinks and everything, and just replicate the experience as much as we like to.
Well, we did get a scoop the last time we were there that potentially there's going to be a big tiki bar opening up in Maui.
On Maui.
So.
Stay tuned.
Really?
Stay tuned. Yeah. Through the grapevine.
Yeah. I can't wait. There's a friend of ours on Maui that makes tiki mugs.
Scott Taylor.
Scott Taylor.
Scott Taylor.
Mutual friend.
Beach Bums.
Beach Bums mugs,
Can you tell the audience about Beach Bums and Scott?
Yeah, so actually we met Scott on our in 2012 on our first time to Maui. So we only had a few days there, and
he's got a little stand in the marketplace there where he sells
at the Kalama marketplace.
Yeah, he sells his mugs and some other things.
Yeah,
and,
so you're gonna need a pair of sunglasses and some other things for your trip. But he, I think the first time we went there.
I was sort of just getting into Tiki, sort of talking to him about the mugs. He pulls out, I don't know if you've seen the Tiki Quest book.
Quest book,
starts showing me through that. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And just built, had a good conversation. And every year we've gone back, we sort of built up our...
Would drop by.
And his stuff's amazing.
His mugs are amazing.
They're amazing, It's probably, I've got quite a few, probably one of my favorite sculptors, I think, that's going right now,
And then Rob Hawes is also on Maui
Rob.
as well,
Tiki
too.
Rob.
So,
also on Maui, and his mugs are incredible, too. So here's a good question. Your interest in Tiki eventually created your interest in Hawaii.
I think a little bit.
It parallel for sure.
Yeah.
So I think would have chosen to get to Hawaii at some point, but I think Tiki probably helped accelerate that.
Do you think there's anyone that has an interest in Hawaii? They love Hawaii, and then that got them into Tiki.
Oh, I think definitely. I know friends that have gone to Hawaii and seen Tiki carvings or mugs and gone, that's cool. I don't know really what it is. I don't know a lot about it, but I'm definitely going to buy that and take it home with me, and I'm going to look into this. And, it's like anything you sort of, you come into and you're just kind of on the edge, and then you delve deeper and deeper into it. And you realize, oh my God, there's this huge subculture.
Well, there's the fashions, the clothing, all sorts of things, right? The carvings. There's so many aspects to it.
Show me another bar where you can actually dress up for the occasion. Vancouver will always have a soft spot in my heart because the Shameful Tiki Room is one of the best tiki bars there is, in my opinion. And I think we should go there right now.
Well, maybe we should
probably
go
could.
there.
All right.
We'll get in there,
thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Aloha, mahalo, and good night.
Good night.
Good night.
We don't really have to go to the Shameful
We
Tiki.
can if you want. I don't know if we get into
you're probably.
I know it's such a
Friday night at
7 p.m.
No, let's not go to a tiki bar. Let's go get some burgers.
Yeah.
Hey gang, this is Tiki with Ray, and I just want to say thank you very much for checking out my video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more episodes, click on the subscribe button. And if you liked the video, give it a like. That would mean a lot to me. And if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave a comment in the comment section below.